What a night for this young man. Pascal Siakam with a 32-point game in his first appearance in the NBA Finals.
Ooh, leave the North. Get it going. The Raptors won Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night, becoming the first team since the 2006 Dallas Mavericks to win in their Finals debut. And this crowd is well aware. Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, everybody. How we doing, guys?
What's going on?
Good. How's everybody?
It's good to see you, man.
Here.
It's good to see y'all.
Great to see you guys.
I am very, very disappointed at what I saw last night.
You mean us?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you guys
No,
are
you
great.
guys are great. Always great on the call.
It's just I'm wondering right now, how much trouble are the Golden State Warriors in your estimation? I'll start with you first, Coach.
Well, I don't think they're in trouble as far as because they lost Game 1. I think their health brings a lot of trouble because, and I've never been one to thought losing Durant somehow is a good thing. Like,
Can you
losing
believe this
Durant,
foolishness?
It's
better without Kevin Durant.
You know why?
Like,
Because the Kawhi Leonard, and Mark made the point last night, Kawhi Leonard missed a ton of regular season games. They won, I think, at an equal or higher percentage without him. No one was saying, oh, the Raptors are better without Leonard. So, you know, the health of Cousins, the health of Durant, now the health of Iguodala, I think that's what makes him in trouble.
Can I start? Is there a team that ever existed, including the dream teams or whatever, where if you added Kevin Durant, they would get worse, ever in the history of basketball?
No.
Can adding Kevin Durant ever make you worse than you were?
No.
It's not possible.
And it's absurd to think that they are a better team without him. That's with respect to that unit and what they've been able to accomplish. But no team has been able to expose the missing piece of Kevin Durant. Give the Raptors credit. At the end of the day, they put pressure on the Warriors. They dictated the pace. They disrupt what they were trying to do offensively, and they were difference makers and very confident on the offensive end.
Is this as simple, or maybe it's not as simple, but to me it was like you double Kawhi, he got help. You doubled Steph Curry, he didn't get nearly as much help as he should have received.
I think at the end of the day, what they thought about is let's keep the ball out of the hands of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Let's be disciplined enough to not give those two assassins on the offensive end quality looks. They were disciplined, they were determined, and individually and collectively they got it done defensively, and that's what it boiled down to. You got to be willing to.
Right, and they just don't have enough. They don't have a lot of punch if Curry and Thompson and then Green don't give them a lot of offense. So I think Toronto was fabulous. I think we can start analyzing the Warriors, but Toronto was great.
I expect a lot of pushback here because you, I'm sure, have personal feelings about this too. And, Coach, you know what a star player does for you. And then media types come up and say, oh, but under pressure, they messed up. And you're like, it's all under pressure, and they do so much for us. But the bottom line to me is, okay, fine, that's what it is. Steph, Klay, Draymond, you know what the challenge is. Now you got to hit those shots. Not, well, he took the shot, it was a good shot. Make the shot. I've seen too often in finals games, Steph Curry as not the best version of himself in terms of making those big shots late in games. To that you say what?
I say he has had some games in the finals that they've still won, and he hasn't played his best. But I thought last night he was excellent. I thought he was tremendous last night. And listen, this is no knock on the Warriors. They're playing a lot of guys that you would not, and they did not expect to be playing in the regular rotation this late in the playoffs. This is what happens. I thought Toronto came in with three major distinct advantages: home court, health, and they had better rhythm because of the long layoff that Golden State was going through. And I think it all showed in Game 1.
Is there someone on the Golden State Warriors as a reserve, some unsung dude who should be getting more time and getting more shots than what we've seen, at least based on Game 1? I look at a guy, a young thoroughbred like an Alfonso McKinney, for example. I think he has the potential to hit some open shots. I think that he's athletic enough. I think he's a fresh, young body and clearly healthier than most of the other guys. What about y'all?
The answer is Kevin Durant is the only guy. That's the only guy. What we're thinking about is, I don't care who they put in that's healthy and whole on that bench. The game plan for the Raptors doesn't change. I'm not giving Steph Curry wide open looks. I'm not giving Klay Thompson wide open looks. I'm going to force Draymond Green to knock down shots, Iguodala, anybody else, not name those two guys. We're going to be disciplined enough to dictate who we allow to have open shots. I don't care who they bring in. It boils down to them making plays.
You get a lot of credit, as you deserve, for thinking big about Steph and Clay, saying it early, this is going to be the greatest shooting backcourt ever. And so they can play with imagination now. They weren't limited in ways some other guys were, and they got to a level maybe a little sooner than people thought they would. I look at Toronto now. Kawhi needs a crime partner. Siakam did it in game one, but he's still ascending. Do you see Siakam as a guy who can take that role right now before our eyes in the finals, or are they going to need different guys to step up every night?
Well, first of all, I said they were the greatest shooter. I didn't say they was going to be.
Sure.
So just to correct you, just a subtle, correct. But I'll say this. Siakam took it personal last night. He went after them. It was almost like, I've been struggling, but I'm going to be aggressive. And it wasn't just him. You look across the board, and Coach would agree. They had impact players all throughout their lineup. They had outstanding nights on both sides of the floor.
I thought Kyle Lowry, even though he didn't shoot well, played exceptionally well. And Van Fleet, I thought defensively was as disciplined against Curry as you can be. Now, that doesn't mean you stop Curry. Obviously, he's that great. But, Stephen, to go back to yours, I'm going to be interested. Do they start DeMarcus Cousins? Does he ramp up his minutes to try to get a little bit more offense on the floor? I think that's such a brutally hard question for Steve Kerr because he's been off so long.
Is this one of those situations where we're looking at Draymond Green? Obviously, he's still under contract for another year. But, we've talked about a lot of things in terms of free agency and what have you. He's not going to be a free agent. But if you're the Golden State Warriors, you're in a position to take care of him this summer. I'm looking at him during this series. Obviously, he said that Pascal Siakam, don't expect to see a replica of that performance in Game 2. But I'm looking at Draymond, and I'm not even worried about him defensively. I think he will answer the call and step up to the plate as it pertains to a particular individual. I'm saying, my goodness, we're talking about Iguodala. Doesn't he have to hit some perimeter shots, too? Doesn't he have to pose some kind of an offensive threat in order to offset what they're lacking without Kevin Durant?
They all do. Even with Kevin Durant, the game plan doesn't change. Then you just add Durant to Curry and Thompson and say, okay, make those other guys beat. The problem that's been, teams haven't been disciplined enough to stick to the plan, dedicated enough to make sure we stay to these bodies and force these guys to make plays. And if I'm Siakam, I'm thinking, well, you think you're going to stop me? It's going to be the same thing in Game 2. I'm not going to just – great defense does not have an answer for great offense.
What about, Coach, this one's for you. I look at the Warriors-Portland series, and I thought Draymond was actually the MVP of that series because 3 of those games were really close. They won it on the offensive glass, right? And Draymond's big there. Toronto, if they take care of the defensive glass and they have these long, big, excellent defenders, what do the Warriors do? What's the answer to that?
Kevin Durant. That's right. No, but I think.
So if they don't have Durant, they can't win?
No, I'm not saying that, but that would be the easiest answer. I thought they did a good job on the offensive board. I think it's Toronto's biggest correction. I thought they hurt them on the offensive board, which turned into open three-point shots. If Toronto takes away those points and doesn't get beat in transition, half-court-wise, it's going to be hard.
All right, let's leave it there, guys.
He's the answer to everything.
Yeah, right. Mark and Jeff are sticking around. When we come back here on First Take from Toronto, where the Raptors are leading 1-0, should the NBA put an end to Drake's sideline antics? We will get into that. But coming up, did last night prove the Warriors can't win the series without Kevin Durant? The guys will answer that after the break.
Ready to upgrade your appliances? Today is the day for doing.